What's up? What's up? Welcome to the site, or welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest things that most people in America hate. What subject or thing do most Americans, where I live at in the United States and in the state of Maryland, what subject do people hate, and are they proud to admit that they hate? So, the topic, our discussion for today, 15 reasons why students hate mathematics. So, 15 reasons why students hate mathematics. Mathematics, which is commonly referred to as just math, is from the Greek word learning, studying, and knowledge. That's all it means. Math just means learning, studying, and knowledge from the ancient Greeks. The major topics throughout under mathematics include changes in space, structure, and quantity. So mathematics deal with the study of space, structure of things, quantity. How many objects do you have? That's all mathematics deal with. Now you know, mathematics, even though they hate it, is a very important subject, and is applicable in everyday life. Everything that we use in life, especially in this industrialized world, revolves around mathematics. If mathematics didn't exist, my good people, I would not have this technology to present this information to you. So without mathematics, the internet, we know it, would not exist, because most of those people who created the internet were mathematicians. Do your research. Mathematicians are good at computer programming, and computer programmers came from mathematicians, but it just became more usable later on. So let's get into our topic. First reason why people hate math, because it's lack of stimulation. I can understand what that is right there. Lack of stimulation. In the classroom, for the most part, you're just sitting down, computing how to solve a problem the entire 50 or 90 minutes. You're not allowed to get up. You rarely walk around and talk to somebody. So it's lack of stimulations. Students always love things that stimulate them, which are fun and exciting to do. A lot of students, however, do not feel the same way about math, because most math teachers, they don't stimulate you. And they see mathematics as a boring and stressful subject. It does require a lot of mental computation. That's why I stress people out. It stimulates you mentally, but most of us, we need to move around physically. We need physical stimuli to make us move. Number 2, student-teacher relationship. Teachers in charge of math tuition sometimes have negative and strained relationship with their students. I can understand why, because I'm a math teacher, but I don't have no strained relationships because my classes are pretty lively and jovial. But when I was in high school, we had a geometry teacher, and she basically didn't know what to do, so the class became chaotic. She wasn't able to establish no relationship with the students. So the relationship was strained. This could be a result of the strict nature of the teacher. She was strict. Or the students just hating the teacher for no reason. Like I said, the teacher didn't understand the geometry, so the class rebelled against her. And then rebellion is a form of hatred. The hate of the teacher by the students is subsequently transferred to the subject he or she teaches. You hate the teacher, you dislike the teacher, you hate the subject that they teach. 3, student self-expectation. Some students are pissed off with the fact that they have never really passed mathematics. A lot of students here in America struggle with math. A lot of them have to take an Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Trigonometry, Calculus course a number of times. But hey, by the time you get to Calculus, that's usually an AP course. So them students in Calculus, they have pretty much solid foundational math skills, so they don't struggle as much. Probably due to the fact that they barely pass math while frequently failing it, have made them conclude that they cannot excel in math. So students may come into a math class, or even adults. It's just not, what I'm reading now, it just not pertain to students, because before you become an adult, you had to have been this child. And if you hated math as a child, it will carry over into your adulthood. Drill number 4, drill overkill. One of the most boring things to do something over and over and over again. When this becomes the case in a math class, where probably the teacher spent a very long time teaching the same topic for weeks, the students could become disinterested, leading to dislike of this subject. So number 4 was drill overkill. That could have been like lesson overkill too, because you only take, when you're teaching, you only spend about 5 or 10 minutes on a drill. Oh, here's the biggest part: social stigma and isolation. Here in the United States, when a person thinks that when people think of you as being good at math, they think of you as being a brainiac, a cerebral person. You make A's and B's in math, you can't relate to the common man because you're good at math. You don't have no sense of humor. You're just cerebral. You're a quote Einstein. But Einstein, he did have a sense of humor. He did have a sense of humor. You just have to study him. So, social stigma and isolation. It is bad enough for a person to feel inadequate due to his inability to meet up with his or her peers in a particular activity, including math exams and tests. This is, however, worsened when such inadequacies are emphasized by the peers through mockery and jest. And you know, as a math teacher, students love to call each other dummy, stupid. You don't know how to do this, so it sticks into your mind. You become, you take on that phobia. You think you're dumb, and you think you're stupid at math, because your students, your peers mock you. But usually, from what I've seen as a teacher, most students who make A's and B's, they don't mock other students. They have some sympathy. The people who mock other students are the people who are usually in your same boat. There's people who best making C's and D's or whatever. They're the ones who love to say stupid and dumb, not the A and B student. The A and B student, they so worried about getting their grades that they don't have time to be teasing and joking and calling other people dumb. Number 6, incomplete instruction. When a teacher does not fully tell the students what he is supposed to know about a topic in mathematics, the students can begin to hate this subject. This is more so when the student finds himself in a condition where he needs to solve a math problem but couldn't because of incomplete instruction on how to solve the problem. So students or teachers do not give you the necessary tools to be able to successfully solve a math exercise, so that leads into the hatred of math when a teacher did not take their responsibilities to show you how to adequately, sufficiently solve the exercise. Number 7, some anxiety. Let's see what this is about. When a student attempts to solve a math problem but keep getting it wrong, I've seen that, the student could get frustrated and end up hating the subject. Yes, some anxiety when a student keeps getting it wrong because they're not using the correct technique that I showed them how. They keep using the same thing over and over, the incorrect technique, that builds into that stigma of not liking the subject. Number 7, circular isolation. Students often desire to know the importance and practical application of everything they are being taught in school. When they cannot get to know the importance and practical application of a math topic, and they have to learn it all the same, they could start to hate mathematics as a result of that. This part is saying, I hear this a lot of times, how does the subject pertain to me? How does it help me in daily life? Now, as a teacher, I do give examples of how algebra can help you. When you go to the grocery store, you buy the same number of objects a certain number of time. That's involving algebra because it's the same object. This can of soup, spaghetti, or whatever. That's your X. But if a teacher is not able to break down mathematics in a way that you can understand and how it can help you in life, that leads you to not like him. Every student is basically like English, because, for instance, or language arts, because we have to use language arts every day to communicate with other people. When you write an email, you're using your language arts skills and your English skills. You have to write that letter. So English is a subject that most people like because that's an applicable skill that you use daily. You're writing a letter to your congressperson. You're writing a letter to your friend. So we have to, as teachers and educators, we have to be able to show students how the math affects your life. How it affects you, how can you use it in your daily life. One thing I know as a math person, we use probability nearly every day. Here's an example of probability. You got two movies that you want to see. If you like movie A better than movie B, the probability that you're going to see movie A goes way higher than movie B. That's an example of probability. Another example of probability. When you come home to get something for the refrigerator, you're thinking about what food you want to eat. That's a probability. Now, if the food that you want to eat is not in that refrigerator and somebody else in your house ate the food, your probability of eating that particular food drops to 0. Alright, here's the biggest part I like to talk about to people in general about math, why it's so difficult. Obscure vocabulary. Mathematics, even though it is often believed to be much different from English, has a lot of terms. Angles, quadrilateral, line segment, obtuse angle, square root, exponent. Those are the vocabulary terms for mathematics. These many terms can sometimes be confusing. When students repeatedly try to learn these terms and they can't, they start to hate the subject. And I understand that. Why I understand too. Like I gave an example of some math terms: exponent, square root, perimeter. Tell me people out there, how many times in life do you use your math vocabulary? Do you ever go around saying the word perpendicular? In a year, in a sentence, how many times do you think you say perpendicular? Do you ever use the word obtuse, angle? That's why math may become difficult, because the vocabulary seems to just be stuck with math. We don't use the vocabulary terms in daily life. No one walks around talking about square root. When you hear the word square root, the first thing that pops in your mind is math. Alright, the next one, I believe is number 9, is teacher assumption. There are cases where mathematics students have complained that the reason they hate mathematics is due to the fact that the teacher did not give them a mathematics crash course. I'm going to explain what that means. System of equations. I still may have on my drill number 3, can you solve a fraction? If I'm talking about imaginary numbers, I still may give an example on a homework and say, can you add these fraction exercises? Can you do fraction division? So one thing I try to do as an educator is always go back to previous math terms so you can be ready for the new content. Because you know math is a subject that's built on top of each other. It's like a step. You learn arithmetic. That's step 1. Then you go to algebra. Step 2. Then you go to algebra 2, step 3. Then you go to pre-calculus. Well, you go to pre-calculus or pre-algebra. Then you go to algebra. Then you go to trigonometry. Then you go to the pre-calculus. Then you go to calculus. It's a step. So you have to go back and visit all the past material to keep student mind fresh and ready for the new material. I believe this is number 10. First experience. Some individuals' first experience with mathematics was a disaster. Especially in this age of Common Core. I've seen the material. They don't try to make the math understandable with Common Core. It seems like it's very complex, even in the 2nd and 3rd grade. I have people in my family who in the 2nd and the 3rd grade, the parents can't have trouble doing the math. Because it seems like they can't understand the question that the Common Core asks them. So I have to go and help my nieces and nephews with their math because the Common Core is so complex. It seems like it don't relate to normal life. It's telling you to use triangles, circles for addition. So teacher competence, or I said first experience. The first class, some individuals' first experience with mathematics was a disaster. Probably they disliked their first math teacher. The first class led to a serious embarrassment on their part, or they were flogged in the first math class for failing to solve a math problem. And for me as a math teacher, I say, look, I want my students to try to do the math. Don't get upset if you didn't do it, if you did it incorrectly. Just feel proud that you had the strength to come to the board to make an attempt. The first step of learning is making that attempt. So I do not put my students down and say, you wrong. There's a slight error there. From that point, the seed of math hatred was sown in their young heart, and it never left. So first experience is huge. I believe this is number 11. Teacher competence. Some teachers, without mincing words, can be referred to as bad teachers. While some do have adequate knowledge of the subject to be able to teach it, there are others who probably finished first class in the course but lack the passion and the ability to impart knowledge. So that's big. Is a teacher not just certified to teach math? Anyone can, then to pass that teacher certification, which I have, it is important. The math part on the practice give a lot of people disasters. A lot of people do not pass the practice test because of the math. So the teacher must be competent in teaching the subject. They must truly understand the math and be able to explain it in such a way that it makes sense to the students. That may be another part of why we're deficient in math in America, because the teachers may not be able to explain it in such a way that it makes sense to the students. Number 12, I believe, negative attitude of students. There are some students who have developed a negative attitude towards learning as a whole. They hate every subject. Or towards mathematics as a subject, which is common. They are not interested in the course, see it as a burden, and can thus never love the course. Yes, math hatred in America and probably throughout the Western world is huge. Alright, number 14, congested classroom. Overcrowded classes. To teach math effectively, you need at least 10 students in a class, not 30 or 40. If it's over 30, the class would be a disaster because the teacher cannot go around and give individual help. Math is a subject where if the students having difficulty, they need about 5 or 10 minutes of the teacher's time. Congested classes decrease the understanding of math. Here's what the writer has to say. English speaking countries and mathematics classes are often one of the most congested, crowded classes in many schools due to the fact that students must take that math class. You must take Algebra 1, you must take Algebra 2, you must take Geometry. So the class will be congested. It will have 30, 25, or 40 students. Who can learn something like that? Who can learn that? And then last, number 15, my good people, lack of teaching materials. The lack of materials for mathematics such as shapes or manipulatives, textbooks, abacus, an ancient tool, I don't think that's used a lot, and other materials needed for learning mathematics have made some students hate the subject. The biggest thing I dislike as a mathematics professional is teachers we're expected to use manipulatives. It don't seem like the schools effectively teach teachers how to effectively use those manipulatives to increase their student learning. Because with manipulatives, then it becomes hands-on. Then you're able to stimulate students' learning. It's not just doing, like I like to call it, naked math when a problem on a board or on a piece of paper. Manipulatives is one of the biggest factors that can help students learn. So thank you for coming to the site, visiting. Be sure to leave your comments. If you like what I discussed, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, you hate what I was talking about, I can take the thumbs down. Thank you for stopping by, my good people, and you all have a wonderful, peaceful, enjoyable day.